People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. I have a few updates, but first, hey, Kaylin. It's somebody's birthday, and I wonder who. Is somebody right in his room they use? Look all around until you see who. They're laughing and smiling. My goodness, it's you. Happy 30th birthday, baby girl. Yep. My daughter is now 30. I also have one I call Baby Doll. She's 26. And then the Tornado. Yeah. I wasn't really big on nicknames when I was growing up, and I ended up with a bunch of them. I guess that's how it works out. When you don't want a nickname, you end up with several nicknames. And Baby Girl was the first baby. Duh, Baby Girl. And the second one, she was a preemie and so small that she basically wore doll clothes. So we call her Baby Doll. So when I say baby girl, somebody go, but you got two female children. You don't call the other one baby girl. So we've always called her baby girl and baby doll. So for those that have wondered about how we differentiate, that's how. Because baby girl is my favorite 30-year-old, and baby doll is my favorite 26-year-old, and then the tornado, we also called him Spider. That's the name he chose himself. He was on a wrestling team back in the day, and basically he would climb all over these wrestlers and take them down, and nobody could get a grip on him, so they called him the Spider. I called him the Tornado. Before that, I called him the Tomato because he was blood red when he was born. And then he would just get into everything very, very quickly. He could run the 100-yard dash in less than 10 seconds when he was little. And when he got older, he just got faster, but he didn't have an interest in running. So, you know, I always encouraged them to make their own life choices. And he wasn't interested in running track. He did like, not baseball, the one with the almond shape football. And when I said that's dangerous, I was told, but Mrs. Peoples, he'll get skills. I still remember that line. He's got skills. I said, okay, is that what you want to do? Do it. So I just increased my insurance because I figured if he got skills, we're going to need to make sure he's covered. That was a good thing because he ended up with some injuries that are not the norm and still continue. I mean, he had a torn ACL thingy, and his foot had a steppish gait and dragged and all that. And to this day, he still runs and jumps and, do all that stuff. And if it bothered him after the surgery, he hasn't told anyone, but he is functional and so forth, so on. And fortunately, the increased insurance covered all the extra medical stuff. Not what I came to talk to you about, though. I have been noticing the new clothes are too big, and this is a smaller size. According to all the scales, I weigh 172, which is the same range of the size I've been. I mean, it's down 10 pounds, but I bought all new clothes to accommodate for the 10 pounds. And now everything is too big. So I'm thinking, because my daughter bought me this wonderful dress for Mother's Day. Oh, shirt rather. Look at there. All butterflies. But it's stretchy. See that? It's literally stretchy. And it says medium. And I'm thinking maybe go get some mediums because this is a large. And for the longest, large fit well, but as you can tell, I mean, or maybe you can't tell, but everything is, I mean, just where the shoulders are on this thing is not where my shoulders are. It's just everything's too big. Pants are becoming an issue. I had to actually buy a skirt that fit for a funeral. The one that said large turned out it was a junior large. So it fits. If I want to sit down, that's going to be a whole different animal. So I'm going to give that to my daughter or somebody. But then I went next door to, because the store that I went to, it was going on 7 o'clock and apparently they closed. So I went to the store next door and said, listen, because I still had the dress on me since they closed. I said, this says large. This does not fit me. Because I got all the way home and had to come all the way back, and that's when I found out they were closed. I said, and I have a funeral in the morning. I need something that will get over my hips. I'm not real concerned about the waist. It has to get over the hips. And see, that's where I made the mistake. The other person at the other store was like, oh, it's a large. It should fit. I mean, waist wise. But it's like, no, you're not understanding. It has to fit over my hips. My hips are 44 inches around at last measure. Might be more. And anyway, she goes, well, how about a span skirt? I was like, what's a span skirt? She goes, well, it's almost like a maxi. I said, no maxis and no minis. This is for a funeral. I need to look respectable. It can't be, you know, at my knee or better. But I don't want anything dragging the ground. And she goes, you can actually pull off a maxi. You got the height. I said, but I don't have the patience to deal with the walking. I did a whole video on walking in a maxi skirt. And she goes, oh, I want to see that video. So I, picked up my phone, typed in the link, and gave it to her. And she goes, can I subscribe to you on YouTube? I said, go for it. Duh. In the meantime, I'm just glad to know that video helped one person. And maybe it'll help more, but in the meantime, I need to be able to walk and talk and function in a dress that fits. So I ended up with a T-length skirt that I needed to wear a belt with, but it fit over my hips. It is a stretchy material. So, of course, I go to put on the top, and yeah, everything's loose. Even the new top I bought that says it's in my size is a little loose. So I'm thinking, and I do know how to sew, so anything that's stretchy material, I can modify and, so I'm just going to get a lot of stuff in t-shirt type material or spandex or something and it still has to be presentable because I am still me and I'm still going to be wearing this stuff to church and, wherever I go. And since basically I go to church and to the doctor's office. It doesn't have to be fancy or formal, but it does have to be comfortable and presentable. Also, Care Source is back. My doctor's back. Platelet check has been done. Went to the co-ed clinic and come to find out they assigned me the wrong doctor and the co-ed clinic couldn't see me without a referral. So I asked, well, because they're now a PCP or primary care physician at the co-ed clinic, they already have my records. I would be dealing with the same people. So I was like, well, what's the, name of the primary care here for Care Source? They gave me a list of names. I tried to click those names and they apparently are not on Care Source's list. So I got the bright idea to grab my medicine bottle because it has the name of that doctor at the co-ed clinic that prescribed it written right on here. So I wrote down the name of that doctor. Boom, they're accepting. So the co-ed clinic is now my doctor, but here's the problem. They put the name of the doctor that prescribed the medicine on there as my primary care, which is facility, and so forth and so on. And her first available opening is in August. I need my Coumadin day for yesterday. So they are working with me on that. They said, well, if nothing else, make an appointment at the co-ed clinic. You have to call this number. Really? All right, you're hearing impaired. You can't use the phone. Um, well, let me see what we can do. So they went and got in touch with this doctor. The doctor said, as long as she's willing, the primary person she'll be dealing with might be a male. I don't care if the doctor's male or female, they're doctors. Hello. And they could prescribe my Coumadin. So I said, I'm willing to take first available. So that still has to go through their system that's on a telephone, so forth, so on. So I said, could you write all the information down on a post-it? I took that post-it, I stuck it to my medical card, I took a picture of it, and I sent those phone numbers to my son and explained the situation because he will call and make the appointment for me because he already knows the situation and how to explain the issues that's going on. When I try to do that with my mom, she screams calls like an Olympic champion. I don't recognize that number. I'm not answering. Really? I lost my insurance the first time because they called to confirm some information and she didn't pick up the phone. And of course, I couldn't pick up the phone. And then they put me through this whole rigmarole. You have to go through this channel now and that channel and Obamacare, so forth and so on. And I'm like, okay, and then if you go over the internet, they're going strictly by your income, not your situation. My income is 0.00. They told me I made too much money and had to apply for insurance through Obamacare at $400 a month. Now, if I have no income, where am I going to get $400 a month? Am I supposed to use the force look? No, I can't go by my good looks. I mean, I'm cute, but that don't transfer into payments for insurance. So back and forth with these, situations, so forth, so, and I finally get it reinstated, and then they tell me, oh, well, we can't do it because it has to go through this channel, but we have your record, so if you get anybody that can call for you and make an appointment at the co-ed clinic, I'll hear about that later today, then we can get you in there. If nothing else, we can get your Coumadin reinstated and your INR checks. That's all I need. So if they could get it done, fine. The Coumadin clinic is who gave me the nurse to do the INR checks at my house and then call it in. So that's why her name for the main doctor showed up, but she is like the head doctor and her schedule's way out in the future. And ain't nobody got time to wait till August to get their Coumadin back on schedule because I've already got throbbing and issues and stuff from the one day I ate all solids because I could tell my INR was too, I could tell I was clotting. And that's not a good feeling. And the other day before all that, I had a glass of wine, which can lower it can thin your blood. I don't even like that stuff, but I knew it had to be done because I could tell things were going a certain way, and I ain't trying to go back to the hospital over a stroke or a clot or a bleed or any of that. So basically, eating this amount of salads and doing this and doing this and doing that, which I know will do this. That's how I've been dealing. Um, I'll know about the platelet check soon. But in the meantime, I had a dentist appointment and I had a tooth that had like a scoop shaped break. And I'm thinking, okay, go ahead and fix this break. Oh, well, because your insurance failed and blah, blah, blah. I mean, this wasn't your fault, but we had to charge you $70 out of pocket. What? Payable by um June the 2nd. Okay. So I'm in prayer for $70, and I said as much to people, and wouldn't you know, soaps that haven't moved for a while, sold some of those. The new stuff, sold some of those. I'm almost to the $70. And then I had someone going, well, when you get some money, pay me back. Okay, fine. Um, they're failing to realize that they owed me, and basically the money they gave me was paying back what they owed, but they're having a memory issue, so I'll let them get away with that because they're fam, and then everything after that will be in writing. But in the meantime, the money that's been earmarked for this is not getting spent on anything but that. I mean, the $20 they owed me was because they decided to go on a field trip or somebody else's excursion and said, I just want some money in my pocket. Do you have $20? Well, it was for the telephone, and basically all I have is the money for the telephone. But because they're family, you know, this particular member of the family can't really say no to because, they gave me life. And that means I'm overdrawn on making this payment. If I take the $20 out and, oh, don't worry, I'll pay you back. So when it came time to pay me back, okay, if I borrow money, there's a lecture. They borrowed money from me, and then when it came time to pay back, here's a lecture. Well, you would think blah, blah, blah. Really keep your $20. So I was overdrawn, and then of course there's a late charge and so forth and so on when I went to pay that bill. But for peace of mind and not to hear that nonsense, keep your $20. I'll find another way. So I put that on my prayer list, and that bill has been covered by the grace of God, plus $20. God is good all the time. And I'm going to keep this prayer chain up because then I won't need anything from her except for I love you and how you feeling. And we'll let her do the petty thing on her own. I mean, there's some petty stuff going on. I mean, this same person said, why should I say so and so and so? They didn't call me. And since when is what you do for someone else dependent on what they've done for you? Sometimes doing the right thing just involves doing the right thing, not with a condition attached to it, not because someone did something in the past for you or because what you want them to do in the future for you. The right thing is the right thing. There. Anyway, the Coumadin situation is getting under control. The platelet situation is getting under control. By the grace of God, I'll get back to normal. Right now, I'm in my room because I feel dizzy, and every time I stand up, I fall down. That's a whole nother set of issues. That's all related to the same issue. And the one thing I know, just keep this on me at all times because that way, if something does happen, they kind of have a clue which way to go. But, you know, I'm losing weight, and I could tell I'm losing weight. I'm having a certain set of symptoms that hopefully will be resolved before other issues can develop. The Coumadin has to get back on schedule. I'm thinking of nothing else. Have the doctor make a call to have the prescription reinstated. But before that can happen, they have to get a current INR check. And that's where the problem lies. The Coumadin Clinic cannot take my INR level without that referral to the doctor that's going to do it because the doctor that I've been assigned can't do it because her schedule doesn't have an opening to ice. If it was just like my Hydria, I didn't take it the way I was supposed to. I took it every other day. And then when I found out I was running out and the insurance failed, I took it every 2 days. So now that I got my doctor back, I could take it every day like I'm supposed to because he can make a phone call and have that prescription reinstated because it doesn't need a let's do a check to do it. They check my platelet levels to see if it's coming down, but to get it going, they don't have to do an initial test. So that part got reinstated just by the fact that they can make a phone call and have stuff reinstated. But the Coumadin, you have to know what the INR is before they can adjust the INR. I mean, if I took a trip to the hospital for anything at all, I ain't trying to do that. Then they can get a current INR and then they can make a phone call for the Coumadin level. And somebody actually suggested that, but that would entail me going to the hospital for specific things like another stroke or a TNI or a TIA or anybody trying to go to the hospital. That's a 9-day stay and a medical thing and people sticking me and poking me and prodding me and all that. And if we could get the situation leveled off and handled before I have to go to a hospital, that's what I'm trying to avoid. You know what I mean? Anyway, I said all that to say this. God is good all the time. Whatever is brought towards me for my good, I'm there. If something bad happens, it's still for my good. I mean, what happens to me might be someone else's witness. So I will maintain the way I have to maintain until such time as I don't maintain because I know which way I'm going. I'm a child of the King and I'm saved, and my destination is already set in stone in the good book, the book of life, written down there. So, whatever little trials and tribulations I had down here, it doesn't matter to me. You know, I do things to avoid pain, I do things to avoid issues, but, you know, if I have to live in pain, so be it. If I have to live with certain issues, so be it. Because down here, everything's just a test. Up there is my future home, and I'll deal with that when the time comes. But for right now, yeah. In the meantime, just when things was getting really challenging for me, and see, just when you think you got it bad, someone else has it worse. You know, my daughter's car blew up while she was in it. She doesn't have a scratch on her. Her purse survived, so she didn't have to worry about replacing a bunch of stuff. Her books was under a pillow in the back of the car, and the pillow is scorched and melted. And the book survived. Everything she needed, from that car that she would took out in an emergency survived. So, I mean, there's proof God's watching out for us right there because, okay, she was talking about getting a car for a long time. And now she has to get a car. But all the stuff that would have been destroyed in that car, we still got it. We still got her. We still got the purse. We still got the book bag that's full of all her school books. Do you know how much college books are? I mean, the minimum cost is like $800 for books. And then, depending on the subject or specialty or whatever, the price goes up. The books I have when I was in college, and that was way back in the day, the first time I went to college, I still have those books. Somebody said, what are you going to do with all these computer books? I mean, some of the technology that I studied under doesn't exist anymore. I said, I paid for them. And people go, well, that was with your student. Who paid off my student loans? I did. I was down to $149.15 on my student loans before all this stuff hit the fan. And now I have no income. And if I get any income, the first thing they're going to do is grab that $149.15. But I paid for all those books, over $1,000 worth of books. So they might be 20 years old, but they're still mine. And I still look at them every now and then. Some of the stuff I'm just trying to relearn, like computers. I had a stroke, and there's a couple of gaps in my memory. I mean, I used to program computers. I used to build computers. I used to work on computers. All of that was one course back in the day when I went to school for computer software applications. And now they got that divided into 5 different courses: repair, maintenance, and working on a computer, or operators, they call it, IT, build, they got everything divided into 5 different courses. So to take the same course I took on a college level, the new kids have to take 5 different courses. Do you want to be an IT specialist? Okay, you take this course. Do you want to be a computer software application specialist? Okay, you take that course. You want to build a computer? Okay, that's a whole nother course. Really? That's how they get you, because they're charging each of these kids that have to take these 5 different course levels 5 different tuition costs. I paid tuition once. It was one course. I learned all of that. So that's how they get you, because, colleges are not in the business of basically teaching you stuff you need to learn to survive. They're basically in the business of making money. And whether you fail or succeed, they still make their money. So that's how come a lot of these colleges have this attitude, like, I don't care, we got you enrolled. So whether you succeed or fail, that's on you now. You know. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Just putting you in the loop on keeping you up to date on everything that's going on. Oh, look, Mother's Day to me. I have a Kangaroo Pro Tank too. Isn't it pretty? It's pink. I got it on my eye stick. It fits, and it's got a 510 threading, which means I don't even need an adapter. I still have the adapter that came with it for my mini Pro Tank that I had to refill 6 times a day. This thing I refill once a day or twice a day, depending on if I want to change the flavor. It holds 3.5, 3.5 milliliters. Nope, my bad. 4. And the airflow is apparent. You know, hear that? That's whether I'm pushing the button or not. And then it has, hold on. Ta-da! It has a removable drip tip that is so smooth that even when it's connected, you can't tell it's a drip tip. It looks like it's all one unit. I want the Pyrex one that's in glass, but that's an expense, so I'll just do it this one. But it works every single time. There's no gurgle, there's no none of that. And because of the way it's made, if there is a gurgle, take it loose, blow through it. It's got a clear, it literally goes right to the coil, and you can blow all the stuff out, put it back together, keep going. So, yeah, I recommend that. Get one. This is made of glass or Pyrex, so you don't have to worry about it, clouding up and breaking on certain types of tanks, which is why I got it. It cost $15. Everybody kept recommending the Nautilus. Have you seen the cost of a Nautilus? And my unit is 20 watts. For the Nautilus to work, especially the sub-ohm ones, I would have to have 50 watts or above. I don't need to vape that much. This unit does it for me, 20 watts. I don't think I've gotten to 20 watts yet. Mostly I hang out right around 10 watts. So The knowledge is just too powerful for it. The Kanger Pro Tank 2, that works for me. I can fire that up at like 15 watts, and I'm still doing 10 watts because that's my range. So, 15 bucks compared to a $60 knowledge, and I have no income. Let's think about that. Hmm. Yeah, I'll take the cheaper one. Anyway, I need a nap. Feel tired, and I'm going to get myself something to eat before my body does that shutdown thing. So this has been People of Seven on Twitter and YouTube. People are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. And my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, could be located at people.etsy.com. Y'all stay blessed and stay tuned. Bye now. And don't forget to pray for me.